I would like to thank Local City for giving me the opportunity to address the wonderful audience today. And thank you so much for organizing this timely conference about Afghanistan and life under the Taliban in Afghanistan. I have been now out of Afghanistan for almost a week, and I very much wanted to come to attend face-to-face in this conference, but I know that the pandemic and the new travel norms has made it much more challenging for everybody to be face-to-face, but I'm glad that there is this digital platform. I have come from Afghanistan and Kabul, a city where it was full of human beings. It looked like a graveyard of people that could survive and breathe. There were people that with no liberty. There were people that they could breathe, but they had aspirations and hopes that were under, under probably tons of dust and sand. So people that really wanted to have a better future, people who have stood in the forefront of protecting democracy, protecting common values in the past 20 years, but they felt betrayed with what has happened. I think there were a lot of us. Our mistakes contributed to this fact of where we are now. I think only if the United States could have engaged the government of Afghanistan, the state of Afghanistan, the political community of Afghanistan, at the time that they've started negotiation with the Taliban, I'm sure it would have not, that agreement and that negotiation would have not empowered the Taliban to the extent that they feel victorious. Or if peace negotiations were given a genuine chance, in a way that both sides were sincere and the countries were not using this only as their PR, but were using it for a purpose to bring peace and stability, and international community could use its leverage, political leverage, to change things, to make the other side more accountable for negotiation. I'm sure the situation would have been much more different today than what we see now. It's unfortunate of what has happened, because all of us have invested our time, our energy, and our blood and treasure on Afghanistan to build institutions, to empower the generation. But we see, for me personally, it was also painful to see what has happened. Everything looked like a sun-made castle, which over time, in very short period of time, in front of my eyes, I could see it collapsing. I think we all have, failed in this situation, failed Afghanistan. It's only the people of Afghanistan that actually will not accept to fail. The people have stood, they will continue to resist, despite enormously security challenges. We know that not only men, but women of Afghanistan, as the main victim of all of this, have gone out to express their civilian disobedience, and they will continue to do so. That is something that I think we are proud of it. In the past 20 years, probably, a lot of buildings and infrastructures were built, but this empowered generation is something that we are all very proud. They will continue to stand for their rights, and I hope the international community will pause before they even think about recognition of Taliban. Because if you look at the list of their governments announced yesterday, Afghanistan is a very diverse society, not only religious but also sectarian minorities, let alone women who cannot be avoided. They're unavoidable citizens of their country, but their government, the so-called government or cabinet, if you see, none of these Afghanistan diversity is reflected there, and that means we're actually promoting an internal instability. They are promoting internal instability, and I think it's not even going to be limited to the borders of Afghanistan. It will going to come to all of our borders. So my request would be to continue humanitarian aid through humanitarian organizations, but political identity we all have to really pause before we give it to Taliban. I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I very much look forward to seeing some of you face to face once some things have eased a little bit from the pandemic.